Let's just double check that I'm live and tell everyone that I'm here. Looks like we're good. YouTube's been behaving pretty well lately, actually. Oh, I didn't save. There we go. So let's double check it's working. Yeah. Okay, welcome back. This is round 6 of Tier 3, Season 16 for Aero League Racing. We are at Monza this week. This was the Patreon pick of tracks to include in the calendar this season. Every season, the Patreon drivers all get to vote for which track they want to see. Yeah, this was the most popular one. It was quite a close vote, actually, between a fair few tracks. Anyway, I'm just trying to find the standings from last week to see where everyone was. So Sam got, unfortunately for him, a penalty in the steward's room, which dropped him to 6th in the sprint race. That means his lead over Anonyma currently is only 12 points. Well, make that 13 because you can already see he's on pole position. Spoilers. So he's got, yeah, so that's his lead over Anonyma. Astro is 34 points back as of the end of the previous round at Kyoto. And Ethan is 55 back, so still not actually that far away. And then Fancy Locks rounds out the top 5 in his Nissan, despite missing the first 2 rounds. Well, he raced them, but in a lower tier, and was promoted because he is massively rapid, as he's proven because he's already in the top 5 in Tier 3. Potentially has a top 4 on the cards by the end of the season. It's not too far away. Anyway, as for Monza, let's go through the grid. We've got Spin in P16. This is unfortunate qualifying for him. I'm assuming a lot of the guys at the back didn't get enough clear air or any slipstream benefit, because the slipstream could have really helped if you were catching a car ahead on one of your laps. It could shave up to a second off, really. Then we've got Captain Eli. He was sick for this round and has tried racing in spite of that, so he could only muster a P15 for his efforts in qualifying. Jezza in 14th place in the other Lamborghini, so both Lambos struggling around here. Track which really benefits you if you've got a really strong top end of 5th gear, low end of 6th gear, which some of these cars don't. One car that is pretty quick around here is the Gen X, and that is what Pasti is in. He's only starting 13th. We'll have to see how he progresses through the field. The Alphas are usually fairly decent around here. Nath it's starting in P12, which is a pretty familiar position, I think, for him in the last few rounds. Fossey in his BRZ has actually, I think this is a fantastic lap in qualifying by Fossey to get this BRZ up into 11th at Monza. For reference, the BRZ was so bad that in our data, it put BX, who's like the quickest guy in the league, in Tier 3 pace. So he wouldn't look out of place here, BX Royal, in that BRZ on his outright pace. And so Fossey to get P11, I think that's pretty impressive for Fossey. He must have put in a pretty good lap in quali. Nectar in 10th place in the other Alfa Romeo, directly ahead of his teammate. Anonyma in P9. He said he didn't get clear air on his lap, lining up right next to Astro in the other Porsche. Both of them are championship contenders, so a pretty bad qualifying there. We know how bad the Porsche is off the line as well. So they could potentially be outside the top 10 after turns 1 and 2, and it's going to maybe get a bit spicy in the rundown on this standing start. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Ethan lines up in 7th place. He is in the Ferrari. Was massively quick in Kyoto. We'll see. I don't know how quick the Ferrari is around here, to be fair. I guess we'll see soon. Whack Jams in P6 in the Nissan GTR. Pretty good car around here. So potentially going to try and get one of his best results of the season. I think he's got a P4 as a best result up to this point. So that's what he's trying to beat. So a podium is what he's on the hunt for. Hurricane in the other Gen X, pretty decent qualifying for him, up in P5. Yuri in P4 in the AMG, which isn't that strong a car around here. So that must have been a very strong lap from Yuri to get into 4th place in qualifying. Then we have Cherry in third in the Lexus. We know the Lexus is very strong. Cherry had his best round of the season, two very solid results in Kyoto, and he looks like he's on course for another one. And then the front row is Fancy Locks, really solid lap, it looks like for him. He was mighty quick in qualifying, lining up right next to Sam, our championship leader, who gets the bonus point for scoring pole position. So 2 Lexuses in the top 3 and 2 Nissan GTRs in the top 6. So that kind of tells you where the pace is at. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. We've got 8 laps around Monza for the sprint race. So let's get going. 5 lights on. Round 6 is underway, and it looks like a very, very strong start there for Sam. Fanstock's really struggling off the start, going backwards massively. Everyone seems to have moved up a place as a result of that, and now it's going to be really tight to turn 1. Sam's got a fairly big lead. Yuri's sending it into P2. Cherry's having to go around Hurricane to keep P3, and then everyone's getting a little bit closer together. Fanstock's all the way down to 7th. Astro getting an absolutely fantastic exit out of the corner and is very close to the back of Fancy now. And Fossey making his way up into the top 10, just losing that spot to Eli. It looks like he's had a really solid start there. Let's go back to the front, because it looks like Hurricane and Ethan are fighting in the entry to the second chicane. Hurricane's stuck it around the outside and got that position very nicely. Hurricane up to P4 now, Ethan 5th, and Wack is where he started in 6th place at the moment. Looks like Astro and Anonymous still fighting with Fancy Locks here. Fancy Locks down behind both of them. So he's lost out positions there. Astro also getting a bit of daylight between himself and his teammate. Wack looks like he's going to challenge Hurricane here around the outside on the entry into Ascari. Really difficult corner to go side by side. It is possible, and it looks like Wack's pretty much ahead. He's got the position. That's a great overtake from Wack. And now he's got Ethan in his sights next. So yeah, Wack on a charge at the start of this race. We're just going to see what's going on at the front. Sam, it looks like he's built a good couple of seconds on Yuri already. We're not even done with the first lap yet. So very, very strong pace so far for Sam. Cherry in P3 as well, not under any kind of pressure. Sam going incredibly tight there. Does get your tyres a little bit dirty, guys. That's just something to be aware of. Ethan now coming under pressure from Wack as we start lap 2. Wack's going to try and go, well, actually he's fully ahead of Ethan. Ethan had no speed to speak of there with Wack in the slipstream. Looks like Hurricane's about to get overtaken again. Astro's completely sent it. Ethan's having to go over the sausage curves. A little bit of contact with Hurricane. Anonymous going to try and take advantage as well. It looks like Astro's losing a lot of speed there. Ethan's got that position back. Hurricane's gone through as well. So it's worked out okay for Ethan. He's lost a chunk of time to Wack though, as these guys are all pretty much side by side. There must be less than half a second separating all 5 of them as we head into the chicane. Hurricane just keeps ahead of Ethan, and Astro and Anonymous a little bit side by side there, the teammates, and that means Fancy is going to maybe try and make it 3 wide into the corner. He bails out of it in the braking zone, but is still going to get that position on Anonymous. So good little bit of opportunism there, and now Pasty's going to follow him through as well, talking about opportunism. Anonymous having an absolutely horrendous couple of corners there, as we see. Unfortunately, the BRZ and Fossey's got a second penalty that is going to cost him a lot more than a second, maybe 3. As Wack looks like he's on the charge again. No, it's not Wack, it's Fancy Locks, excuse me. He's still in P8. He's right behind Astro. Astro's got a 2.5 second penalty that he's just earned, so I think he's going to be serving it in the next lap, because there is the slowdown line, and Fancy fancies a move into Parabolica. Astro has gone very wide there, and he's going to lose that time. He might potentially get a penalty. I'm not too sure what the penalty rules are for Parabolica. I always take it nice and tight. Anyway, Pasty and Anonymous battling down the straight. Anonymous think about having a look at Pasty. This is going to drop Astro completely out of the top 10 when he sells his 2.5 second penalty, because Fossey's all the way down in 13th after serving his 1.5 second penalty. So add another second of slowing down on top of that. Nectar struggling down in P15 and Jesel in 16th, but everyone's pretty close. I think anyone could still finish in the top 10 and be part of that reverse grid situation. We've got a battle for P2 going on. Cherry's caught up nicely to the back of Yuri and might fancy a little Lexus 1-2 here. Lexus and Porsche very close in the Constructors' Championship at the moment, and Porsche have the edge, but Lexus is doing a lot stronger tonight. Looks like Wack is slowly catching up to all of them. Sam has the fastest lap of 47.3. Wack is 4 tenths up, 5 tenths actually, down on that. But he is going quicker than Cherry and Yuri, that's for sure. Yuri having a bit of a sloppy second lap there in 49s. Cherry's might have a little bit of a run on Yuri in down to Parabolica or on the main straight. Looks like the main straight might be a little bit more likely. Cherry closing the gap here. He's going to try and take the corner a little bit better than Yuri, get a better exit, take advantage of the slipstream, and ideally be fully ahead of Yuri before the braking zone arrives for turn 1. Yuri going onto the green again. Gus getting kicked up. Yuri is deciding what to do. He's looking a little bit defensive there. Cherry wasn't able to get close enough. Oh, he had to think about it. He nearly had a little wobble in the braking zone as well. Yuri comfortably keeps the position, and it looks like both of them are fairly smooth through the opening couple of corners. Wack 47.6 that time. That was a full second quicker than Cherry, who somehow got a 2.5 second penalty. I want to see how this happened. Was it there? I think it was in the entry on. It was the turn 1 that he cut. Let's see. This is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Let's go walking. Yeah, that'll do it. Fully, there's the white line. You can see it right there. He's not on it. We don't want to be taking pictures. Okay, let's carry on. Anyway, yeah, he doesn't cut the turn 2, so that is the only explanation for that 2.5 second penalty. If Wack Jams doesn't get a double win in the OP car, he's washed. Well, he's at P4 at the moment, which is where his best finish of the season so far. Cherry's actually going to try and get past Yuri. If he manages to do this, then that means that Yuri's going to be slightly less in front of him. But yeah, 2.5 seconds. It's going to definitely drop him back behind Wack. He's got quite a big gap before Hurricane, though. So it might be touch and go. If I was Cherry, I'd be committing right now to defending inside line for Parabolica, just in case Hurricane manages to get alongside. But yeah, it looks like he's tucked in nicely behind Yuri at the moment. And yeah, Wack right there. Let's just have a quick look down and see where everyone is. Hurricane ahead of Ethan. Ethan dropped back a little bit. Fanslot's just a solid P7. Pasty right ahead of Anonyma, who's worked to go up to 9th. Where is Astro, our other championship contender? He's currently battling Fossey for P13. This is a disaster for Astro and his race, but let's join with Cherry because he's about to serve that 2.5 second penalty. Through goes Wack into P3. Hurricane is closing in on Cherry pretty quickly. What's he going to do? Is it going to be quick enough? Potentially not, but he might be in slipstream range for the hit straight, and he might have a go here. I think the Gen X has better top speed once you get into that 6th gear, and it has excellent acceleration. He is probably a second back on Cherry at the moment, so maybe not into turn 1, but if he has a good exit from the first chicane, he could attack into the second chicane. Into the braking zone we go. And yeah, nothing he could do there. Just 1 second, let me just check something. Okay. That's fine. I can't hear any sound, but you can on the stream, so let's see what Wack's up to. It looks like he's closing in on Yuri. He's setting a 47.9 there. Yuri was in the 48, only 3 tenths slower. So it looks like Wack will be reeling in Yuri, and he might fancy P2. I think P1 is slightly out of reach. Sam is already yeah, marching down, yeah, there, and then there come those two. So that's probably 5 or 6 seconds of a gap at the moment, and it might increase because Wack is going to start putting some pressure on Yuri fairly soon. Cherry in 3rd place still has Hurricane behind. If Wack and Yuri start battling, potentially Cherry could get back in the mix here. Fantasy is closing in on the back of this pack as well, so we're going to have a nice little 4-way battle at the end here. Wack is much closer to Yuri though, as we head down once again to Parabolica for the 5th time. This is, well, it very much looks like he's teeing him up for a move into turn 1. The Nissan GTR is a bit better on this straight than the AMG. Both of them are okay. The AMG is just okay. So Yuri's going to have to try and go defensive here. He's got 3 laps now to try and keep Wack behind. Yeah, about less than half a second separates them, make that even less. Is Wack going to chuck it in the inside? He's got the speed to think about it. He doesn't this time. Now, who's going to get a better exit here? Looks like Wack missed the apex in turn 2. And yeah, Yuri has maintained that gap. So not much to... yeah, Yuri's defending and just placing his car pretty well. He's actually set one of his best first sector times there, only half a tenth off of his fastest sector 1 time. Despite a little bit of wear on the tyres now as well, and the pressure from Wack. And this, he's negotiated the Lesmos pretty well. He's created a bit of a gap now to Wack. And what's happening with Cherry? Cherry has Hurricane about a second behind, and Ethan is a lot closer. But what you'll see here is a good example of the Gen X speed. You can see it just disappearing, getting smaller and smaller on the screen. It's getting further away as it takes advantage of Cherry's slipstream and its superior engine that it's got compared to some of these other cars. And yeah, it's not a car that you could overtake in Monza without the Gen X driver making a mistake. That's basically the win. Now Wack has closed in a little bit again on Yuri, maybe because of the slipstream. Let's see what Yuri could do on the exit. They both had slightly different lines on the exit. Wack going a bit wider. I think he had a better slingshot out of the Parabolic, to be honest. He's looking a lot closer than he was. Now, is Wack going to be brave into turn 1 this time? He's running out of chances. This is the second to last lap. Wasn't able to get close enough on that occasion. Wack flatters the inside curve there, the little sausage curve. Loses a bit of momentum potentially because of that. It's a great part of the track to reel someone in. Now Yuri's going to have to decide, is he going to go defensive? And if he does, he's going to be out of position through the corner. And he decided to stick to the racing line. Both of them clatter the sausage there. Wack a little bit twitchy on the exit. Now we're heading into the Lesbos. 2 corners where you can gain a lot of time. It looks like Wack is feeling a bit more confident in the first Lesmo, and he's right behind Yuri now. He's got a great chance at this point. This is the closest he's been. What's Yuri going to do? Yuri's sticking to the left. That's the inside line for the next corner. Wack's going to have to go the long way around. He's got the overspeed. He might have a nose in front into the braking zone. Who's braver on the brakes? Yuri takes the corner perfectly and keeps Wack behind, but he's going to get attacked again. Looks like Wack had a better exit from Ascari as well. Yeah, no turn 1 carnage this time. Maybe in the second race. Okay, now Wack is running out of time to get this P2. Remember, Wack hasn't finished on the podium yet this season. Yuri won the opening race of the season in Catalonia Sprint, and he's defending this P2 now. He's with all his might. He's gone defensive into the first corner. Wack is going to try and go around the outside again. Didn't work for him last time. Is it going to work this time? He's a little bit further ahead than Yuri, and they give each other plenty of space, so that is a great overtake around the outside into turn 1 from Wack. Yuri isn't finished yet, though. He's got a pretty solid exit from turn 1. Cherry's still holding off Hurricane and Ethan a little bit behind as well. So can Yuri respond? That's the question now. What's Wack going to do? He looks like he's going to defend the inside line now. He just want to be on the outside again. It didn't work for him on the last lap. And he's kept a big clatter there has allowed Yuri to get alongside into the Lesmo. He's got the inside line for Lesmo 1. And he might have taken P2 back. Oh, Wack's held it round the outside so well. He's still not got the advantage, though. We've got another right-hander coming up for Yuri. And Yuri takes P2. Wack's got only a couple of braking zones left in this track to try and get past Yuri again. All the while, Cherry is slowly closing in on them as well. Yuri defending the inside. Wack's going to have to go the long way around. He's trying it, and it looks like it's worked again. Oh, he's a little bit slow on the exit of Ascari. Yuri is... Well, it's a drag race now. It's a drag race to Parabolica. One corner left in the track. Yuri's trying to get in the slipstream. Wack's immediately gone defensive into the next corner as soon as he was able to. Yuri's going to try and go around the outside for the final time into Parabolica. Who's going to win? Wack has the advantage. It looks like he's kept it. Yuri's going a little bit too wide on the exit there. Wack's going to take P2. Sam won the race, by the way, by a huge margin. Wack ends up getting P2 right at the end ahead of Yuri, Cherry, Hurricane, and Ethan, rounding out the top 6. Anonymous recovering to 7th. Pasty in the other Gen X 8, so solid points for Gen X today. Nathan in 9th. And Captain Eli getting reverse grid pole. Astro just missing out in 11th. Fossey is in 12th in the BRZ ahead of Spin. Nectar. Fancy Locks must have had an issue somewhere. He's finished all the way down in 15th. He was up in 7th, remember. And Jezza is rounding out the top 16. So a huge win there for Sam. Only his, I think his 3rd win of the season. He won the feature race in Kyoto, so that's 2 in a row for Sam. Yes, it was an amazing battle, actually. I'm very impressed with how clean it was, because some of these corners are not easy to do side by side. I don't think there's any corners at Monza where it's a comfortable side by side battle, because of the way, well, how jerky they are. There's only just one line, really. And it's amazing that they didn't get caught as well by anybody, despite all that battling as well. So feature race, what can they do? What can they do in the feature? We've got Captain Eli on pole position. Let's just have let's just set everything up and see what tyre strategies. I think it should be a medium soft for everyone. Captain Eli is on. Never mind. Our pole sitter is starting on hard tyres. Nathan on mediums is going to try and get past Eli pretty quickly then with that start. Pasty in 3rd, also on the hards. We know the Gen X is not good on its tyres. Anonymous on the mediums, Ethan on the mediums, hards for the other Gen X, Hurricane, and then I'm expecting everyone. Oh, hards for Fossey as well, okay. And Spin. And then everyone else is on mediums. No one's starting on the softs. We have 22 laps of this feature race, 1 mandatory pit stop, 2 compounds are required. We have a reverse grid from the previous race, so 10th in the last race is first here, and Sam, our winner from the last race, is starting in 10th. We're up and running. Everyone's going to slide into formation and try and get some slipstream. As we head down into turn 1, let's see if this ends up being as neat and tidy as the sprint race. Let's find out. Nath catching up. Yeah, everyone's kind of concertinaing into each other, but looks pretty solid at the moment. Yeah, there's no dramas into turn 1. Everyone manages to get around. Quite slots jostled to the back. Captain Eli having a great start there, has quite a big gap over Nath, who is under a bit of pressure from 3 cars as we head into the second chicane. And yeah, Nathan a little bit. Yeah, everyone was a little bit all over the place there. Anonymous taking advantage, gone up into P3. Pasty's been jostled down behind Ethan as well into 5th place. We're into the Lesmos. Anonymous defending from Ethan. Ethan trying to go around the outside of both Lesmos to get this position, and it might actually work here. Anonymous, it's going to happen. Anonymous is the lead driver of the top 3 in the championship. Ethan's trying to get into that battle as well. We're still 2 by 2 here into Ascari. This is extraordinary. Anonymous been shuffled down to 5th, and yeah, the Gen X's are at the head of this battle. Ethan a little bit off track there, and slots in back where he was. So Cherry's going to have a pop at Ethan. Let's ride on board. Ethan is right there. right next to him. We've got a little slipstream going on. Looks like both of them are struggling. It looks like Cherry's getting a bit more speed out of him with the slipstream of Anonymous right there. Both of them going incredibly wide, and that's going to lose them a chunk of places. Cherry down to 9th, and Anonymous is in 13th place right now. So Disaster 14th now, and 15th. Bloody hell. And Wack has been in the wars as well. This is just the opening lap. I feel like it's been about 3 or 4 with how much action has gone on. It looks like a few people have been struggling, including Wack after his P2 has dropped all the way down. Meanwhile, at the front, Captain Eli and Nate look like they have a bit of daylight between everyone else who's got the turn 1 completely wrong. Let's ride up on with Pasty. Looks like Pasty, he's got a second penalty, probably from Ascari. He's getting challenged from Hurricane here. I hope there's no teammate issues. Looks like it's all fairly normal right now, and then he just gets rear-ended a little bit there from Astro, and he's had to cut the corner, and he's lost a chunk of positions there as well. So disaster for Pasty. There's other people in the scene. What's going on? Oh, fancy locks. What's going on? So everyone's slowed down a little bit there, and Fancy's trying to get past Nectar, and just a little bit too much on the throttle, I think. Wonder if that was reported. Let's see it from Nectar's point of view. Yep, through goes Cherry, and Fancy's trying to go through as well. Actually, Nectar could have been a little bit more to the right. I don't know, it could just be a racing incident. Very unfortunate for both of them, and they've got a lot of work to do. Through goes those 3 that are battling for positions. Looks like Wack's going to make his way back up to P13 already after being 16th at the end of lap 1. What's going on a bit further up? Fossey's in the top 10 again. He's getting challenged by Yuri. Yuri trying to make a bit of progress here. Up into 9th now. Pasty is going to get a second penalty and drop behind this little battle as well. With Pasty and Cherry currently side by side into the first Lesbo. And it looks like Astro won that. Now Yuri's going to have a little look at Pasty as well. And a bit more battling here because Cherry is up into P6 ahead of Astro. Astro, having it tuck in behind, goes really wide on the exit there, but might have a chance of having a look into Ascari if he can close a little bit of time on Cherry. Pasty looks like he's going for it on Astro. No, it doesn't. He tucks back in. He's all out of shape there. Yuri catches up to the back of him, nearly gives him a little kiss for good luck as well. And now Yuri looks like he's very comfortable on the exit of these corners. He's going to maybe try a move on, on Astro as well. He's nice and tight up in his slipstream. Pasty losing multiple positions there. I think 5 positions he's lost with that 1 penalty, so that's very brutal for him. Now, okay, Astro, Cherry, and Yuri all jostling for position. Cherry's unfortunate because he's found himself outside of the slipstream. He's dropped behind both of them. Yuri's going to have a look on Astro and try and get the move done. Porsche versus Mercedes here, and the Porsche is going to win out for now. It's all very interesting at the moment. Everyone's still pretty close together, so I don't think you can rule anyone out for the win. Meanwhile, Sam's up P4. Okay, hold on. This is our... Let's see what happens. P4 for a while. So nothing happens there. Let's go a little bit. So coming out of this corner, he actually was up into 6th. He dropped back to 7th. And he's going to benefit from the carnage into turn 1, I think. So let's see. He's just behind where it's all going to kick off here. And he punts Ethan through. And then he gets past Pasty and Astro. He's going to win that battle as well. So that was good. Now where's he gone up to 4th? He just got around the outside of Ethan at the first Lesmo to take P4. So this is a fantastic drive from the Lexus. He's up from 10th to 4th, and it's still only lap 2. We were just at the start of lap 3. Here we go. He's going to try and start to catch up to Hurricane now as well. So Sam is completely on a charge. 1 minute 50 is his fastest time, which isn't that quick, but he has been making his way through the field. Everyone else is nice and spaced out. No one's actually broken the 49s by the looks of it on lap 2. Unfortunately, we don't have a fastest lap showing. I don't know why. Ethan down in 5th now, Astro in 6th, just ahead of Yuri. Yuri under a little bit of pressure maybe from Cherry here now. Cherry might have a look, and he decides against it. These guys were 3rd and 4th in the sprint, they're currently 7th and 8th at the moment. Might want to work together, to be honest, to try and work you and catch up to the guys in front. If you keep battling, you're just going to get caught by Jezza. Jezza's had a great start, by the way, up into 9th in the Lambo. Pretty sure he finished last comfortably in the sprint race as well, so that's a good start for Jezza. Very nice. Yuri and Cherry is still the closest one. Let's ride on board with Cherry and see how he takes this corner. Yeah. Well, Yuri takes it completely wrong. He's all out of shape. What is Cherry going to do? He had to bail out of it to avoid making contact with Yuri, which is going to close Jezza in a little bit. We've got Cherry on the inside, Yuri on the outside, and I think it's going to be a fairly straightforward overtake here for Cherry as long as he nails his braking and hits. Yeah, he does. It's the apex comfortably before Yuri. Yuri's going to try the old switcheroo on the straight and take advantage of the slipstream. We're on the end of lap 3 only. What's he going to do? Cherry's not really indicating which way he's going to go. It looks like he's not going to be defending the inside line. Yuri decides not to do the dive bomb. I think he could have tried it. Well, it's not a dive bomb. It's moving under braking for turn 1. It's only a dive bomb if you know. Anyway, sometimes I just go off on one. Anyway, Cherry's still doing pretty well here in the Lexus, holding back Yuri. And what we know about the Lexus is that it's got a phenomenal fuel tank. Oh, you get to the exit of the chicane wrong. He's going defensive immediately. I didn't realise that a chance was coming up so quickly. And Cherry looks like he's staved it off Lesmo 1. Yuri's going to have a better exit because Cherry had to take it so narrowly. And Cherry misses the apex. This is Yuri's best chance to get this position. He's gone for the bump draft on Cherry. So he wants to probably get a bit of space between himself and Jezza before going for a move. Cherry defending the inside. Said, thank you for those couple of bump drafts. I'm still not letting you through. Oh, and Cherry's done exactly the same thing again. Yuri's caught up to the back of him. I think he's maybe braking a little bit too late for that corner. And is there bump drafting going on? Yeah, there's definitely bump drafting going on. Very clever, because they are quite a way away from the top 6 at the moment. Cherry looks like he's gone very slightly deep. Yuri could take huge advantage of this. Are we going to have a drag race down into turn 1 between the Mercedes AMG and the Lexus? Which one is going to win out? We know that the Lexus is very strong at the top of its 5th gear, and that is why Yuri's just tucked up behind him there in his slipstream. He's got a chance. He has to go for it here. Under braking, who's going to be better on the brakes? It looks like Cherry might have won this one again, but it still put him out of position, and now Yuri and Jezza is caught up to the back of these guys. So we've got a 3-way fight for P7. And let's just go back and watch a little replay. What has happened here? We've got Sam overtaking Hurricane around the outside on the entry there. Absolutely phenomenal move. We saw Wack do a similar one. And now we've got Nate right up the back of Captain Eli as well. He's caught up pretty well. Eli had a bit of an advantage, but like I said, he isn't feeling well in this race. And he's gone deep into the corner. Nate's going to try the switch back. And he's already up into P1 and on the exit. So Eli's going to have a chance here to get the position back. Let's see what the slipstream looks like on board with him in the Ferrari. He's got a good chance here of having a move. He's actually backed out of it. He doesn't want to be battling and probably losing more time just to get P1 back when there's these cars right behind. Sam going a bit defensive on Hurricane there on the exit. Turn 1, Hurricane loses it a little bit. Let's see what Ethan's going to do. Is Ethan going to be able to catch up in the other Ferrari? So we're P2 and P5 for Team Ferrari right now. Pretty good start to the race for these guys. top 6 have broken massively clear of everyone else now. And only 2 of the top 6 are really championship contenders. We've got Hurricane a bit dodgy out the exit of that chicane. Ethan is going to send it in, and Astro's just behind as well. Looks like Ethan's got the position. What's Astro going to do is to get alongside Hurricane into the second Lesmo, has the advantage, is going to nail the apex and get a good exit. So Astro to clear Hurricane down a couple of places. Unfortunately for him, he's got a chance of getting the position back on Astro. Astro's going defensive. Ethan has a bit of breathing space between these guys and hopes it'll stay. Hurricane is ahead into the corner. Astro's going to get the inside line and say, better luck next time. Hurricane will have more chances though. Turn 1 is probably the next one. Now we've got Cherry. He's built a little bit of a cushion to Yuri now. And this group, all of a sudden, are not too far away from the top 6. There was quite a big gap less than half a lap ago. But yeah, we've seen some battling going on, but maybe the pace at the front just isn't that hot. We're in the 50s. Astro set 48 in P5. We've got another 50 flat for Nate, 50.5 for Eli, 48.6 for Sam, who is catching Eli incredibly quickly now. He wants another position here. Tucks in to take turn 1 cleanly. Now what's the exit going to be like for Sam? Better exit for Eli, actually. So it's not going to happen this time. Someone's completely off the track. That is Astro. What's happened here? This looks normal. I don't know what happened between turn 1 and 2. And then just, yeah, too much throttle on the gravel into the slip road. And that is a good chunk of position slots. Yuri up to P7 now. Jezza up to P8. Great race so far. A good 6 laps there for Jezza. Really solid consistency, picking his way through these little mistakes people have started to make. So, disaster for Astro, great news for Sam. Let's see how he's doing. He's currently trying to get past Eli into the first Lesmo, and it looks like he's got it. Sam up to P2, maybe a double win on the cards. I don't think we've had a double win in Tier 3 this season. It's a very rare accolade that you win both races in a single race. I think we need to start making a record of the people who actually do it. So if Sam can do it, he's got a bit of time to catch up to Nate. Nate has had a rough season, I think it's fair to say. And this is the first time really that he's been at the front. He's looking very comfortable as well at the moment. And if you can get it would be a shock win, I think it's fair to say. But he's got a great opportunity here. But he's getting hunted down by someone who has immense pace. We've got Eli and Ethan. I think Eli's just let Ethan go through. So Eli dropping down a little bit here. Maybe the Ferraris could work together though. And yeah, let's compare these lap times. Nate down in the 50s. He actually has just gone into the 49s for the first time, half a second quicker than his previous best. 49.5, so he's half a second down on, no actually, only 4/10 of a second down on Sam. So if he could keep that pace, I think Sam's going to have a hard time getting past him. It's a tall order, but it's a great opportunity here. The Alpha has won at Monza in ALR before, so I think it's fair to say that this car, it's got low tyre wear, it's got good top end speed. Not the best, certainly not the best. There's other cars, well, like the Corvette and the Dodge, which aren't actually here. So there's something going on a bit further down. I've just seen someone. Yuri is. Let's see what's happening with Yuri. So he's going to 7th there. Just got a complete lap back, excuse me. Oh, he's had a penalty. Never mind. I thought there was some sort of on-track action. Unfortunately for Yuri there, he's lost 2 positions to reduce that penalty, potentially 3. Asti is definitely going to get into slipstream range. There's Anonymous trying to make his recovery as well. Next to doing alright in 12th. Whack. Speed in the Wars is down in 13th. I think at this point, he'd be happy with a top 10 finish. His teammate as well, really down. Absolute disaster for Nissan today. We got spin and, unfortunate for Fossey. He set a 2-minute lap there, 2-minute 8 lap on lap 3. So he's been spared his blushes, whatever's happened on those laps. Let's stick with this battle for P1, because we know that Sam's got the pace at the moment. Is that going to continue? And is the Lexus strong enough to get past the Alpha if the Alpha makes no mistakes? That is the real question. Sound really good on the exit there. Just took in another chunk of time. He's actually looking into the first Degner as well. He's not going to get it this time. Yeah, he's looking like he wants that P1. Oh, and it's just been gifted to him. It's the pressure of having a very fast driver that close behind you. And unfortunately for Dave, it's dropped him down to P4. P4 is still a very good position. Now, Astro is getting past Yuri. Pasty's going to try and get a move done on him as well by the looks of things. Pasty's got the inside line for the next corner as well. Is he going to get back up into P9? Pasty was doing well until that penalty. He's trying to recover. Now Yuri's doing the exact same thing. Looks like Yuri's taking Scary a bit better. We've got 4 cars very close to each other here. Pasty a bit, went through the gravel a little bit there. He's lost a bit of momentum. And that's why Nectar and Anonymous are right up the back of him. Is he going to be able to keep it into Parabolica? Anonymous gone for it. He's absolutely sent it. There's contact between the two of them. And Nectar is going to go through and overtake both of them. Anonymous down in P11. Pasty is in 12th now. I wonder if that position is going to get handed back to him. Wack is catching up pretty quickly to these guys now. And it looks like the position's being given. I wonder if this has been done well enough to avoid Wack catching up to him. Because he definitely will have had to lift on that straight, which is a dangerous thing to do if you want to keep enough speed. But yeah, looks like he did it pretty nicely there. So great news for Nectar. 2 Alfa Romeos in the top 10. You love to see it. I've unfortunately not been able to say that many times this season, but it looks like a very solid race so far for both of them. Yuri in P9 trying to recover. There's a yellow flag somewhere. It is Captain Eli. Let's go back and see. Yeah, this was what was reported to the stewards. Unfortunately, the braking point was missed. Just a mistake. Hurricane got reset to track. I think he might get away with it. That's amazing that he didn't get reset to track. Hurricane and Jenga overtaken. Hurricane's got some rear damage. Jezza up into a 6th place now with all that's happened around him. He's having a very, very tidy race here, Jezza. Which might be one of his best results of the season. In a car that isn't meant to be very good around him as well. Just to make that achievement a little bit sweeter. He's actually putting a bit of pressure on Hurricane. Hurricane doesn't have bumper damage anymore, but he is on hard tyres. Is it P5 on hard tyres? This is going pretty well for Hurricane. Jezza and Astro at the back of this train. Jezza getting a bit of just like a micro mistake on the exit is enough for Astro to get past, especially with the help of Hurricane's slipstream, which is giving him a nice tow as well. So Astro looks like he's up into P6. Jezza might try and be brave with the brake. If he doesn't, tucks in behind. Maybe thinking about a move into turn 1. End of lap 8. Still nowhere near hitting time, essentially. Let's have a quick tyre check on how everyone's doing. Sam in the front with Ethan in P2 now. Cherry in 3rd, Nathan in 4th after his little mistake. We've got Hurricane in 5th with Astro 6th. The tyres, Sam looks comfortable, Ethan looks incredibly comfortable. Cherry's a little bit better than Sam for the teammates. Alpha, no worries at all. Hard tyres for Hurricane, so we're not worried about his tyres, we're worried about his grip and his pace. As the stint wears on, it should come to him though. Astro not able to get past him, and if you want to do it in a car, what was I trying to say? If you want to pick a car where you can run a strategy that Hurricane's running, you want one where it's impossible to overtake. And the Gen X is so strong that unless he makes a mistake like that, then he's not getting overtaken. But that was the kiss of death, wasn't it? What's Jezza going to do? Is Jezza going to take back his P6? Hurricane recovered pretty well, actually, in terms of his speed. Sometimes you are all at sea, but I think he got back on the throttle quick enough not to lose too much time. Bit dodgy with the dirty tyres there. Jezza having to completely back out. Yuri's going to catch up to these guys now with a lovely exit from Ascari. Both of them really compromised through Ascari. So Yuri might be able to get up into the top 6 fairly soon. Into Parabolica. A little bit wide there for Hurricane. Now who's bravest on the throttle? It looks like Jezza was really early on the throttle compared to the other two. He's got a nice run on Hurricane. It's going to be pretty close in the slipstream. It's going to be very strong here. Yuri has actually gone into the pits on lap 10. An interesting strategy there for Yuri. Let's see what tyres he comes out on. Hurricane solidly ahead of Jezza. Brakes as late as he likes and still manages to hit the apex despite having a car lurking there on the inside. Really solid corner there for Hurricane. I think he's a man on a mission. He's still in P6 after that little incident. Something's happening. We've got Nectar overtaking Captain Eli. Eli falling backwards on his hard tyres, remember, so the mediums will still be a little bit stronger than them. And yeah, the Alpha is still making progress. Very close behind Eli as well. And Whack in 11th. So Whack's recovery somewhat completely off there. That was pasty. Let's see how he took that. I think this was an unforced error. Yeah, look, just completely cuts the corner. Oh dear. And he had to completely lift off the throttle to avoid a penalty as well. What's Sam up to? Sam looks like he's got an enormous lead right now. Just like in the first race. So yeah, Sam is showing Tier 1 pace. So that sprint race that he did, he was quicker than any other driver in ALR. All the Tier 1 drivers and all the Tier 2 drivers set slower sprint race times than Sam. And now he's winning the feature as well. So, I don't know, is he making a case to get a double promotion at the end of the season? His championship lead coming into today wasn't actually that big. I think there's probably 5 very quick guys in this tier. Mix that speed with consistency as well. Because like I always say, tier 3 is for the guys that have really good pace, but sometimes just struggle to make a full 22 lap race. Oh my god, what is going on back here? Nectar, Captain Eli, Anonyma, and Whack all vying for P8. Whack's going for it on the inside. Oh my god, rewinded to turn 1. This Whack bails out of it very nicely. Captain Eli takes the corner. Nectar all out of shape. Oh, little bit of nudging there. Anonyma takes huge advantage. Fancy Lock's trying to come through as well. So Fancy just gets a couple of positions easily there because there's carnage. That was completely unavoidable. Oh dear. Right, it's all kicking off. Fancy back in the top 10. Don't know what happened in the sprint race. Been on a bit of a recovery. He's made a mistake, I think, in the feature. Can't remember. Something happened. I'm gonna go with mistake. Here comes Whack on Nectar as well, side by side. It's the Lesbos for P11 now. Whack was competing for P8 just a couple of corners ago, and now he's back trying to avoid falling down to 12th. It looks like he's got the position on Nectar quite comfortably. And he's got his teammate ahead of him, so maybe the teammates can work together, unless Fancy just overtakes Anonyma before he has a chance to catch up to the back of him. And Fancy's fully ahead, even before the corner. That was some good driving there from Fancy Locks. Now he's got Captain Eli in his sights already. Eli looking a little bit shaky out of Ascari. And Fancy's just going to swoop past him pretty easily there. And Anonyma might follow him as well. Yeah, Eli just tucking him behind. So up to 6 for Hurricane, 7th for Jezza, 8th now for Fancy Logs. There is a gap between these ones. Hurricane is coming into the pits. Let's have a quick look. We're on lap 11. We've got some guys, well, Fossey and Spin still have a pit. Yuri is put on soft tyres. So is he going to try and make softs last to the end? Or is he going to hit the second time? I did, in the AMG, 9 laps on the softs, and they were pretty dead at the end of that. This is a 2-stop. This is a 2-stop. I don't think we're going to be in the top 10. Even with the tyre advantage, the pit lane is just too long. Hurricane is going to come out, and Fossey's also coming to the pits. Hurricane coming out in P15 with some nice clear air. He's gone onto the hard, so he's definitely going to the end, especially with all the fuel lights put in. Yuri's definitely two-stopping. So, nice to see a different strategy. Very brave. Not sure it'll work out. I'm skeptical. Excuse me. But maybe he wanted to do that rather than race on the hard, which is entirely understandable as well. So, Cherry's doing well again. Cherry's popped himself up into P3 and isn't too far behind Ethan at this stage. There's quite a nice gap between him and Astro as well, so he's not under pressure. He can just focus on doing some solid laps. In the 49s consistently, low 49s as well. It's pretty good pace. Apart from one slow lap where there was a lot of fighting going on, Ethan's been in the mid to low 149s and Sam's been in the 48s on these mediums. So, yeah. Very, very quick man is our Sam. Let's see what these laps are. Ethan's done a 49.7 compared to a 49 flat, so Cherry 9/10 of a second quicker than Ethan. I think we might see an overtake fairly soon in the battle for P2. Jezza has come into the pits meanwhile. He's going to try... Well, he's coming off his mediums. And, yeah, this... Yeah, well, I did 8 laps on the sauce. They're going for 9 laps on the sauce, so that's entirely reasonable. Fancy Lock's been 48.1 past this lap, which could be too, so he's not even coming to the pits yet. Nate's down in 5th place, so he's dropped another position. And he's got Fancy Lock quite a way behind, so he's got some breathing space. He's been lapping in the 51s and 50s on his medium tyres. And Nectar is also on his mediums lapping, well, he did 53 with all that carnage that we saw a couple laps ago. Anyway, let's find some battles. Cherry, not looking... I mean, he's going to overtake Ethan on the pits anyway with the tank on the Lexus, isn't he? So maybe he's just comfortable behind Ethan at this stage. Got a really good chance of getting a Lexus 1-2 here. I think I was talking about it in the previous race. And yeah, it could happen here, so... Really good track for the Lexus, the Monza. You wouldn't have expected it. But the thing is with Monza, it's not... You don't spend long in 6th gear. There's not many corners, but you really don't spend long in 6th gear. Usually, by the time you get into 6th, you've only got a couple of seconds before the corner, if you're lucky in most cars. Oh, here comes Cherry on Ethan. Ethan's gone wide round Parabolica. He's actually kept it on the track, though, but Cherry on the inside. Is anyone diving into the pits? Cherry's going into the pits anyway. It's going to be a race to try and get the undercut for Cherry. Astro carries on. Nate carries on. Fancy Locks is going to have to come in because he's out of fuel. Anonyma is going to carry on. He's got loads of fuel. Interesting. Nectar in 8th is carrying on. Whack in 9th is carrying on. Eli hasn't come into the pits yet. He's still carrying on. And Yuri, our man who's going to be 2-stopping, is he going to be in the lead of the race when everyone comes into the pits? He needs to have some clear air when everyone shuffles out in order to make this work. Cherry on his way out. Yuri's going to be ahead. Oh, is he going to be ahead of Cherry? This is going to be a really tight margin for closing speeds. Yuri's going to try and move around the outside. Cherry makes the apex and keeps that position. This is a bit of a nightmare for Yuri unless Cherry starts just kind of driving away. Otherwise, indicating left. I think that might just be an accident. I don't think he's indicating for Yuri to go past it. But Yuri might try it. Yuri's pretty close now. And Yuri's still tucked in behind him. This is pretty close between these two. Yuri's thinking about sending it into the Degner. You cannot send it into Degner 1. It's going to end in tears. And Yuri thought better of it. Degner 2, and he's going to tuck in behind as well. This is a great chance into the next corner, though, to try and get the position. He's very nice in the slipstream of Cherry. Is going to close in. It just depends if he wants to go for it. Sam in the pits now. Cherry's got good pace, though, so Yuri might be best served just tucking in behind whilst his tyres start degrading a little bit and benefiting from the slipstream than actually battling. Working together when you're not on the same strategies. So Sam is finally in the pits. Let's join with Sam. He's already putting in his fuel. He's changed his tyres. He's going to be putting in the softs, obviously. Now let's see where he comes out in relation to everyone else, and if he's going to be in any sort of traffic. He's going to be comfortably ahead of everyone else who's been in the pits, that's for sure. Let's join Yuri's, there's the pit exit there, and that is Astro, so he's going to be fully behind. Yuri is going to have to tuck in behind Cherry for now, so Astro joins behind. Nate comes out in 8th place. There he is, just taking the first corner. Then we've got Hurricane round into 9th, Fancy Locks round into 10th, and Jezza is in 11th at the moment on hard tyres as well. So this might be a bit of a struggle for Jezza. He decided to go for hards instead of softs, and I think that is the kiss of death strategy around Monza, to be honest. Very difficult to make the tyres last, but it is possible. Ethan, meanwhile, is in P1. He's currently lapping a second off of his optimal time because his rear tyre is on its last legs. He's completely out of fuel as well. So he's 15 laps. Actually, that's a pretty good time. I didn't realise it's that good. I had to fuel save pretty significantly there due to make 14 on the lead runs. Surely coming into pits now. He's just been able to focus on putting in the laps. Ethan was in P2, remember, so we're expecting him to come out between Sam and Cherry unless something unusual has happened. Anonyma could actually carry on, and he is going to carry on. Whack in the pits, which means Sam's going to get promoted up into 2nd place. Ethan putting in fuel now. Let's join with Cherry and see where... because Cherry's had a couple of laps on these softs already. Actually, this is his out lap. Looks like Ethan is on his way out of the pits now. Here he is. He's comfortably behind all of them. He's going to join down in 6th now. So staying out as long as possible might have backfired for Ethan. I don't know if he's going to have the tyre life on the softs to make it to the end. Would have had the tyre life on the softs to make it to the end if he hit earlier. Maybe it was out of necessity, but he's lost a huge chunk of positions there. It'll be 5th when Anonymous comes into the pits. But he's going to have fresh tyres for the rest of the race, so if he catches up to people, he's going to find overtaking a lot easier than in the first stint. Now we've got Astro and Yuri battling for P4. Remember, Yuri's tyres are not as fresh as these guys, so he's going to have to come into the pits again. He's got maybe 20-ish% left of his fuel, so that's another couple of laps at least, if he chooses to. He's a bit all over the place. He's lost a lot of ground to Cherry on this lap so far. They were right next to each other. And Astro's in the gravel. Oh, he's flashing. He's not happy. He is not a happy man. Should we watch the replay? Let's watch the replay. Right. Right up over Astro. Let's see. You're a bit wide out of the first exit. No, Lesmo. I would have called it Degna. It's the Lesmo. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see it from Louis' point of view. Where's their contact? I didn't see it the first time. So he's going defensive. It's just one of those things. Just one of those things. I don't know. If I was still a student, I personally would probably say that was a racing incident. Don't know if it was reported, actually. But Astro under a little bit of pressure from Ethan, who's just come out of the pits on his fresh tyres now as well. And yeah, he's going to have to just tuck in behind for now. Let's see what's going on a bit further up. Anonymous finally coming into the pits. Really interested to see where he comes out after staying out for so long. And what about Yuri? Is Yuri going to come in soon? We're on lap 16 now. He is coming in for his second stop. Okay. So that puts Astro up into 3rd. Ethan's now up into 4th. So really through the pit space, he only lost positions to Cherry and Astro. Nathan is up into 5th, our pole sitter. No, he started in P2, but he's still doing pretty well and he's got quite a big gap down to Hurricane, who is just ahead of Fancy Locks on his pretty good recovery drive so far. Anonyma has come out of the pits and is in P8, but with the fresh tyres. Nexa in 9th is defending for his life against Whack, it looks like, through turns 1 and 2, and it looks like he's got a great exit from that corner. Eli is in 11th, Jezza is top, second penalty. Yuri has come out on his fresh rubber in 13th, so maybe trying to get a top 10 here if possible, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. He'll get at least one position if he sticks close enough to Jezza. We have Pasty, Fossey and Spin struggling at the back. Meanwhile, Sam set the fastest lap most recently, 47.136 in the 47s is pretty phenomenal stuff, especially a 47.1. That's very, very good. That's, yeah. Tier 1? Tier 2? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see who signs up for next season, I think. Cherry in P2, sorry. We've got a Lexus 1-2. It's looking very comfortable for them. Astro's got a 2-second penalty, which he is just serving now. That is Ethan back into the top 3 because of that penalty. What about Nath? Nath's a bit too far behind to take advantage. We've got all sorts of action going on in the battle for P6 between Hurricane, Fancy Locks and Anonyma. They're very, very close together, separated by can't be more than half a second. Hurricane going defensive into Parabolic, and Fancy Locks trying to get a wider line. It goes a little bit too wide. Anonyma trying to take advantage of that. He tucks in on the inside, excuse me, and he gets that position on Fancy. Now he's going to try and get the next one on Hurricane. Anonyma on the best tyres, he'll be feeling the most comfortable, making them nice and dirty through there because that's Hurricane's preferred line. He's going to try and go around the outside into turn 1. Is he feeling brave on the brakes? Are we going to make it? Hurricane earlier. He's led him through by the looks of it. He didn't fight that very hard at all. And Anonyma up into 6th. Outside shot of getting a top 5. Hurricane's got a second as well. Oh dear, let's find out where that happened. Was it turn 1? Let's ride on board. Where is he? Let's see. What have you done, Hurricane? Yeah, there we go. I'm good at this. Bloody hell. Yeah, exactly. Well, almost exactly the same. He only got a 1-second penalty, and I think it's because he hasn't gone onto this white bit here, unlike the last time I did this. Anyway, so there's his 1-second penalty. I think he was trying to be a little bit too polite with Anonyma, and it's actually come back to bite him on the arse here. And he gets this penalty, and he's going to lose a position to Fancy Locks now. But he's got enough time to regroup. He's on the medium tyres. Softs for Anonyma, so they will struggle at the end of the race, but he might be a bit too far ahead. Hurricane's going to try and get the position back anyway. No, he just had a quick look and decided better of it. Fancy with a great exit there. Hello, Alessandro. So, can Fancy get another position here on Hurricane? His progress has been stunted a little bit as he started getting involved in some battles. Bit of a bad exit there for the second as well. Let's see what's going on further up. It looks like everyone's nice and spaced out at the moment, actually. Cherry and Sam are comfortable 1-2 for the Lexus boys. Ethan is now comfortably in P3 in the Ferrari. And we've got the Porsche of Astro, the Alfa Romeo of Nath, other Porsche of Anonyma. Some pretty good recoveries from Astro and Anonyma. And now we've got the Gen X getting a second penalty, which he's serving now. And we're going to see the Nissan of Fancy Locks overtaking Hurricane fairly easily there. And Whack trying to recover as well in that other Nissan in 9th. Then we've got, we've still got 2 Alfa Romeos in the top 10. Very happy about that. Sam has put strong performances. I've said it before, but Sam was in Tier 2 last season, really struggled with tyre wear, and that was the main reason that he appears not to be as quick on the data. And he's also got quicker too this season, I think it's fair to say. But he's also massively sorted out his tyre wear in the off-season. He knew that was the area he needed to work on, he fixed it, and now he is the favourite to win Season 16 Tier 3, so it just goes to show, if you just make some slight tweaks to what you do, in his case, I mean, I think it was removing trail braking, which is very bad. Oh, who's got a second penalty? It's Astro again. Astro really struggling at this stage of the race. He's getting penalties, and Nate is potentially in range to strike here. Maybe not whilst he's serving the penalty, but over the next few corners with slipstream, Nate might still get back in the top 4. We're on lap 19 now of 22. Not too long to go. We've also got a bit of a battle going on a bit further down, I think. No, we don't. They're still nicely spread out. It looks like a lot closer on the minimap. So who's serving the penalty? We've got an Astro serving his penalty now. Let's ride on board with Nate and see this gap shrink. It's not actually that much. It's the second penalty there. A bit wide there for Astro. A bit out of shape in that corner. That's actually lost in a huge chunk of time to Nate. And this might mean that slipstream starts to come into effect. He's definitely close enough to get a bit of slipstream here. 49.1 for Nate compared with 51.5 for that penalty for Astro. Oh, okay. So when he wins his title and he gets his acceptance speech, he has to thank Alessandro for the assistance. Okay, well, potentially we won't have him next season if you drive different cars. So I hope he's learned a lot and can take that knowledge on with him. Astro looking a bit more comfortable now since that previous lap, so he has the opportunity to start to drive away from Nate. Nate's tyres are pretty similar actually to Astro's. They'll be both struggling equally. Anonymous now. The Porsche has taken turns, getting huge penalties. 2.5 seconds is substantial, and Fancy Locks is a pretty decent amount of time behind. You can still see Anonymous. So with that 2.5 seconds, that'll be about 4.5 to 5 seconds, I reckon, slower that Anonymous will be, because the amount of extra time on the brakes means it takes a lot longer to get back up to full speed, and it's quite a long straight that this penalty line is on. Some of the penalty lines are quite unforgiving, like in Catalonia. This is not an unforgiving penalty line. Capel's being held with one. Capel doesn't know how to add up, so that's where you're going wrong. Okay, Hurricane and Whack look pretty close together. Let's see what that time penalty does for Anonymous. He is still very comfortably ahead of Fancy after serving that penalty. Hurricane is really struggling here against Whack. Whack might fancy this. Hurricane missed, got a bit of a poor line through Parabolica. Whack is all over the back of him. Will Fancy give him a bit of slipstream to help him out? Yes, he's just moved across now. It's not going to help him out too much, especially against this Jet X. So Hurricane's still the favourite to keep this position into turn 1. Let's see what happens. He needs to avoid getting a penalty by cutting again. I think he's avoided it there. Only just though. Fancy's lost it. Fancy has lost it. Oh dear. He's got enough of a gap, I think, to Nectar. But he was doing so well in his recovery. These tyres are pretty dead now. Pretty dead. Of course, still should be alright. Hurricane trying to get this position back on Whack. Let's see if he can do it under braking. Can't do it. Whack defended pretty well, but it instantly goes into the gravel. It is, what is going on with the Nissans? Wow. Okay, so get out of jail free card there for Hurricane. He's ahead of both Nissans and in P7. He's only got a lap and a half to go as well, so he just needs to avoid any mishaps, and he's got that P7 in the bag. Meanwhile, at the front, Sam is just rounding Parabolica to start his final lap already. We've got Cherry getting caught a little bit by Ethan here. Definitely doesn't. Ethan is on good pace in the 48s, 4 laps in a row. Cherry's been in the 49s and 48s since he's come out of the pits, so a little bit slower. A little bit less consistent, I should say. Astro in the low 48s now that he's shook off Nathan. Nathan might get put under pressure here a little bit from Anonymous. His rear left is struggling. We'll see how much that impacts him. I don't think that worn rear tyres affect you as much as front until they go properly dead, and then you just can't drive. Final lap for these guys. We've got Hurricane in P7, Fancy Locks in P8, Nectar 9. Nectar 10th, sorry, and Whack Jams in 9th place. So let's see if anything's going to change at the front. I think everyone's pretty much on their own at the moment. Nathan and Anonima is the closest one, so let's stick with these and see if anything develops. Race of the season so far for Nate, I think it's fair to say. I'm going to give him driver of the day, even though someone both races, he doesn't need any extra praise. Nate has been the biggest improver, definitely. Anonima putting a lot of pressure on him. He just needs to still make it home in one piece, though. It's looking a bit hairy as we go through the Lesmos. Anonima is getting alongside, and he looks like he's just swooped through and got P5. A little bit unfortunate for Nate. He hasn't got the tyres compared to Anonima to fight, I don't think. And that is why he was struggling through those corners. He might struggle through the next ones as well. Anyway, let's go back to Sam. He's going around Parabolica for the last time. Let's give him his flowers, because that is a perfect week. He scored the maximum 43 points because he's got both wins, both fastest laps, and pole position. Takes a huge lead in the championship now, and a great race for Team Alexis, because Cherry is going to get P2. His joint best result of the season. He's really improved these last couple of weeks. Ethan in P3 will be really happy with that, I think, because the Ferrari isn't as strong here as some other cars. Porsche of Astro in P4, good recovery drive for both Porsches to finish in the top 5, which we've seen him do so much this season. Nate should be really proud of himself with that P6. Hurricane, even though he raced on the hards for half the race, still gets P7 ahead of Fancy. We've seen had a couple of mistakes, should be a lot higher up. Whack. Same could be said, and 2 of the Alphas in the top 10. You love to see it. Yuri on his 2-stopper down in 11th. It's like Jezza. Oh, Eli's out back out of the there. Jezza's going to take 12th as a result, and is Pasty going to take Eli? It's going to be quite a close call. Who's going to get it? Eli's going to get it. Pasty spins across the finish line anyway, and then we've got Fossey. Last of the drivers on the lead lap to finish. Spin was unfortunately a lap down. So let's have a quick look and see what that does to the standings now. Sam has increased his lead by, well, up to 35 points. So he only needs to outscore Anonima by 8 at Dragon Trail, and he's actually won the title with a race to go. Anonima second, 35 points back. Astro is now 59 points behind Sam, so it's looking a bit ominous. In the constructors, there's only 4 points between Porsche. It's still in P1, despite that 1-2. They've got a 4-point lead over Lexus. Dragon Trail is really good for the Porsche. I think it might be better for the Porsche than the Lexus. And then both of them, well, maybe Porsche is better for both of the last tracks, actually. If I was going to, yeah, I think it is, actually, than the Lexus. But of course, the Lexus has the insane fuel tank, so even if they are similarly matched, they just get jumped in the pits, do the Porsches. But yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. That was a fun one. Next week, we're at Dragon Trail Seaside with the Death Chicane. It's going to be a very exciting one, so join me then.